The latest episode of Old Dad's been reincarnated into his daughter's favorite villainess. Um, it's the type of mind-shattering revelations that just make you think outside the box, and going forward looking at the show, I'm not going to observe it the same way. Because whenever characters are put into what was once a video game, now turned reality, my mindset's often, well, now it's a real thing. It follows maybe video game mechanics, but it's a world, right? But I guess when you show it from two perspectives, both a family observing their dad in the villainess game, and then seeing from his perspective, it's easy to say, okay, while inside the game it feels like reality, but it's a video game, right? Like that's what it is. But the casual two-line sentence that gets said from the daughter about how, I've had suspicions, but now it feels pretty clear that while this is without a doubt influence from the video game, it's not the game. In fact, it's a separate universe that is just, well, influenced by this game, which has me changing and redirecting all my thought process, because I guess I assume if dad wakes up from his coma, maybe there's some new routes now unlocked. I mean, that was confirmed. Like, the daughter's never seen the current path that the dad's on because he's made a new path. But if we're not looking at it as rather a video game, but a separate universe, the whole Isekai dilemma is that he actually did die, his soul went to another universe, and he needs to probably clear or get to a certain point, but because it's not even clearing anymore, because we confirm this is a universe. The fact that the old Grace is pretty much trapped in a birdcage, he needs to get her out so she can take back over the body, so her soul goes back into her own body and his soul goes back to his. If you don't think that's an insane twist, an insane observation, I don't know what to tell you, because that's cool as hell. Of course, you want to support my work though, see my full thoughts on these episodes. We got the Patreon, full and cut live reactions available exclusively over there if you're so interested. Just a good episode. I've been saying it for the past couple of weeks that I felt like the past couple of episodes had felt more like what you would see in an OVA. And as I say, that's not an insult. It's a lot of things I wouldn't normally see in a main show. It feels more side stuff, and I like the side stuff, but not stuff you would normally see an anime season direct its time and attention to. This episode felt more like a main episode to me. So, and I think the big reason is that the whole Anna Grace plotline is more relevant this episode, and progressing her into a more servant role, which should be a negative in any other, game storyline type thing, is actually, her greatest dream. It's so funny because you always have misunderstandings in villainess shows, especially when the character's like, I'm going to avoid being bad, or I'm going to be bad. It's just like, it never works the way they want to. So for the dad in question, who's handling Anna's and Grace's whole storyline now, it's basically, I'm going to make sure this girl succeeds in her paths, and if anything, Grace is going to be her support. Like, the final shot of this episode, with both of them completely on a different page, but on the same page, Anna wants to be the servant to Grace. Grace wants to be the servant to Anna. They're both like, yes, we're going to be at the same location, they just don't understand that both want, like, one thinks one's going to be higher than the other. It's fantastic. The whole episode just had me grinning. I liked it. I liked learning a lot more. Like, this is actually a really good episode for world building. They confirm a lot about her dad, and I didn't really have bad opinions of the dad prior to this. In fact, I think I had pretty positive ones. But I have way more positive feelings now. The idea that he essentially probably has like 95% more hired help than he needs. And if you know anything about rich bastards, if they can save a penny despite having billions, they will do so, because screw the little man. And this dude's out here with a miniature kingdom of hired help that he doesn't need, so people have a place to call home, so they can feed their families, have a livable wage, and most importantly, it's basically like a school of education for servanthood. Why is that dude such a G? I don't get it. He's fantastic. Not gonna lie though, her mom and her brother, they give me villain vibes. I don't think they actually are. I just think it's the way they direct him, because as we see, right, there's this moment in the episode where the one servant girl who likes to do Grace's hair, she appears over her and it looks like she's about to get sold into slavery. But no, like she got hired and she was able to feed her family. So she's not bad, but they don't do their character models justice for appearing like good people. The dad, bundle of joy Santa Claus, mom and brother, I'm going to make you eat your family. It's like, what the hell's going on? I actually really liked what they did with the one servant girl. So we know when dad took over the body, the servants were like confused because they've been dealing with a capital bitch for a while. Like she was not a good person to be around. Like they were visibly like, why isn't she yelling at us? Why isn't she beating us? Like, what's going on? Like she woke up on the right side of the bed for once. The hell. There was one servant who never got treated poorly, even in her puberty years, and that was the girl who at a young age was like, hey, I'm very good with hair. Would you let me, do up her hair so she has a more modern hairstyle? The hairstyle in question is always been weird to me, but they clearly love it. And the fact that they even confirm, like, you could probably interpret she probably was the one servant that maybe didn't get treated poorly, but the fact that they even confirm it in this episode that, even when she was mean, as they say, very polite way to put it, she never treated her any different. To be fair, of course, the person who was never treated any different would say she never gets mad unless there's a reason to. Easy for you to say when you're not getting verbally abused every other day of the week, but I do appreciate that whole, dynamic. Very good episode. I've really enjoyed the past handful of episodes, but yeah, I can't deny I actually really appreciate getting more back on what feels like a main plot point track, which is, of course, the Anna and Grace storyline. And I don't know, I really, like, usually when we focus on the mom and daughter, like, they're usually together, and it's a little more meme-worthy. This time it felt more like the daughter was in the driver's seat to really say, let's understand where the plot's going and take it more or less serious. Like, there was goofy moments and little outbursts, but in general, she was a lot more confident in her role this episode, and it allowed for me to really look at this show in a different way. And while I'm not saying it completely reinvents the wheel with how you're interpreting, is it game, is it another universe, I've never seen a show where you had that outsider looking in and was able to say, this isn't a game, this is legitimately another universe that for whatever reason I'm looking into, and it's influenced by a game, but it really isn't. It's just like the game is a bridge to allow them to communicate, but in fact this is another universe. It's just mind-blowing. What can I say? Of course, those are my feelings. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and theories if you got any after this insane episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course ring that bell, and like I mentioned, full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. So today we got Fate, Zeshram, Dark Lord, Dylan Miles, Pokemon 222, 888, Derek Nickel, Little Big Trouble, Trap Senpai, F Google, Sunspots, Darthwin Wright, and we also have Eric Barton. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.